She was the coal miner's daughter who became the queen of country. Loretta Lynn didn't just sing songs, she lived them, pouring her heart into lyrics that spoke for women, workers, and dreamers. Her story is one of grit, triumph, and a voice that changed music forever. Born Loretta Webb on April 14, 1932, in Butcher Hollow, Kentucky, she grew up in a one-room cabin, the second of 8 children. Poverty shaped her early years. Her family scraped by in the Appalachian Hills, where coal dust and hard labor were facts of life. But even as a child, Loretta found solace in music. She'd sing hymns with her mother, her voice echoing through the hollow, raw and pure. At 15, she married Oliver Doolittle Lynn, a man who'd shape her life for better and worse. By 19, she was a mother of 4, living in Washington state, far from her Kentucky roots. Do, as she called him, saw something special in Loretta. In 1953, he bought her a $17 guitar, sparking a fire she didn't know she had. Loretta taught herself to play, writing songs about the joys and struggles of her life, love, motherhood, and the sting of betrayal. Her first break came in 1960 with I'm a Honky Tonk Girl, a song she wrote and recorded after singing in small bars and radio shows. It climbed the country charts, and suddenly, Nashville noticed. By the 1960s, Loretta was a force. Hits like Don't Come Home a Drinkin' and You Ain't Woman Enough made her a star, but it was her fearless songwriting that set her apart. She sang about divorce, birth control, and women's strength at a time when those topics were taboo. Her 1975 song, The Pill, shocked the industry but became an anthem for women's independence. Loretta didn't just perform, she challenged Nashville's rules, paving the way for artists like Dolly Parton and Tammy Wynette. Her honest, unpolished style connected with fans who saw their own lives in her music. But fame came at a cost. Her marriage to Do was stormy, marked by love, infidelity, and his struggles with alcohol. Loretta channeled that pain into her songs, but the pressure of stardom took a toll. She faced health issues, including migraines and exhaustion, and later battled prescription drug dependency. Yet she never stopped. Over her career, she released 54 studio albums, won 3 Grammy Awards, and became the first woman to receive the Country Music Association's Entertainer of the Year in 1972. Her 1976 autobiography, Coal Miner's Daughter, and its 1980 Oscar-winning film cemented her as a cultural icon. Even in her 80s, Loretta kept performing, her voice still carrying the weight of her story. When she passed in October 2022 at 90, the world mourned not just a singer, but a trailblazer who gave country music its heart. From a Kentucky cabin to the Grand Ole Opry, Loretta Lynn proved that a woman with a guitar and a story could change the world. She was known as the Queen of Country. But beneath the spotlight, she was a woman who never forgot a slight, a deception, or a betrayal. At 90, Loretta Lynn finally spoke out, revealing 7 musicians who had crossed her, mocked her, or tried to take her crown. These weren't just competitors, they were the shadows that haunted her career. When she named them, it was as if Nashville's past split wide open. Number 1. Johnny Cash, the betrayal that shattered her trust. It's shocking to think the first name on Loretta Lynn's hidden list would be Johnny Cash, a man she once called her spiritual brother. Both rose from the same rugged American soil. In the early 1970s, they toured together, shared prayers, and traded Bible verses backstage. Loretta placed her faith in him like few others in Nashville. So in 1978, the blow felt like a dagger. She'd been invited to perform on a nationally televised gospel special hosted by Cash, an honor she cherished, even arriving early to prepare. But 48 hours before the show, a call came. Her performance was cut. Later, a kind producer revealed the truth. Cash himself had made the call, saying she was too bold, too outspoken for a gospel audience. To Loretta, who'd risked everything singing about women's struggles and social issues, this was a betrayal of her very core. "He knew I was a fighter," she confided to a friend. "He was supposed to stand by me." She never forgave him. In 1983, Cash sent a handwritten apology, which she read once, folded carefully, and tucked into a cedar chest. Years later, when a reporter brought up his name, she said only, "Some wounds don't heal." For Loretta, that chapter was closed. Number 2. Reba McEntire, the one who claimed her throne. Second on Loretta's list, and a wound that cut deep, was Reba McEntire, the fiery redhead Nashville hailed as the new queen of country. That title alone sparked Loretta's fury because she was still performing, still reigning, when Reba burst onto the scene, acting as if Loretta's time had passed. The tension began in 1983 when Country Music magazine splashed Reba's face on its cover, dubbing her the genre's new star. Loretta, fresh off her album Making Love from Memory, reportedly hurled the magazine across the room, snapping, "New star, I'm still shining." The real breaking point came at the 1987 CMA Awards. Reba performed Loretta's classic "You Ain't Woman Enough" to Take My Man to a roaring crowd, but never acknowledged Loretta, who sat stone-faced in the front row. Backstage, as Reba passed by, Loretta didn't flinch. She later told her manager, "I don't applaud imposters." The comment echoed through Nashville, and Reba never offered an apology. From then on, Loretta's silence toward Reba was deafening. No interviews, no duets, not even a passing mention. She didn't resent Reba's talent. She loathed the industry's rush to crown her as Loretta's successor. Number 3. Conway Twitty, the partner who stole her light. Third on Loretta's unforgiven list was Conway Twitty, the man fans saw as her on-stage soulmate. But behind their playful duets, resentment simmered. By the end, Loretta could barely stand him. "They called us a duo," she once said privately, but it always felt like his stage. The trouble started after their 1973 hit, Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man. Skyrocketed headlines praised Conway's charm with Loretta, never their shared magic. In interviews, he'd grin and say she just followed his lead, which infuriated Loretta, a songwriter and star in her own right, long before their partnership. The final straw came in 1979 during a backstage interview in Atlanta. Conway quipped, "Loretta's still got it for her age." He meant it as a joke, but Loretta overheard. That night, when the band cued her entrance, she refused to take the stage, leaving Conway alone in the spotlight as the crowd waited. She stopped taking his calls after that. When fans clamored for another duet album, she told her manager, "You can't harmonize with arrogance." Nashville never forgot her words. Number 4, Tammy Wynette, the rival who played the innocent. What really went down between Loretta Lynn and Tammy Wynette? Let's just say the crown of country was never wide enough, for both Loretta didn't just dislike Tammy, she rejected everything she represented. It all hinged on one song, "Stand By Your Man." To the world, it was a classic. To Loretta, it was the opposite of her fight for women's strength. "I didn't need a man to stand by," she once said sharply. "I told mine to step aside." That was a direct shot at Tammy. Their rivalry sparked in the late 1960s when labels pushed Tammy as the gentle, heartbroken sweetheart, while Loretta sang boldly about infidelity, independence, and defiance. Tensions peaked at the 1970 CMA Awards when Tammy won Female Vocalist of the Year and said in her speech, "I thank the Lord for keeping me humble." Loretta, in the audience, rolled her eyes and muttered loudly enough to be heard, "Humble? She's about as humble as a peacock in a mink coat." They steered clear of each other after that. Promoters pitched a duet album, but Loretta refused, saying, "I don't share a stage with someone who plays fragile to sell records." The feud became the stuff of legend. Number 5. Olivia Newton-John, the outsider who crossed the line. Here's where the story gets heated. Fifth on Loretta's grudge list was Olivia Newton-John, the polished Australian star who seemed too pristine for country's grit. That was exactly Loretta's issue with her. The fire ignited in 1974 when Olivia, a pop artist, won the CMA Female Vocalist of the Year award. Nashville cheered, but Loretta was stunned. She turned to her tour manager and said, "What's next? Elvis for Best Banjo?" To Loretta, this was about authenticity. She'd fought her way up from a coal miner's cabin, crafting songs about struggle and survival, only for Olivia to waltz in and claim country's spotlight. Loretta wasn't convinced. When the CMA asked her to present an award the next year, she declined, citing a scheduling issue. But insiders knew the real reason. She told a friend, "I don't cheer for pop stars playing cowgirl." Olivia later spoke about wanting to bring country to a wider audience, prompting Loretta to retort privately, "Country doesn't need a savior, it needs respect." From then on, Loretta drew a firm line. Real country came from hardship, not Hollywood sparkle. Number 6. Crystal Gayle, the sister who turned her back. This one stings the most. 6th on Loretta's list wasn't a rival or industry foe. It was her own sister, Crystal Gayle. Those close to Loretta say this betrayal hurt more than any award snub or headline. Raised in the same Kentucky hollow, the sisters ended up worlds apart by the late 1970s. Loretta was the raw, outspoken coal miner's daughter. Crystal was all elegance, with glossy hair and pop crossover hits. When Crystal's Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue topped the charts in 1977, the media called her country's sophisticated new voice. Loretta reportedly grumbled, "New voice? Guess I'm old news." The breaking point came in 1992 at Loretta's televised 65th birthday tribute. Every country icon attended, except Crystal, whose team cited a prior commitment. Loretta wasn't fooled. She told a confidant, "Family shows up unless they've forgotten their roots." She stayed silent until a joint interview years later. When asked what Loretta meant to her career, Crystal said politely, "She was an influence." That single word crushed Loretta. From that day, she refused any shared appearances with her sister. Number 7. Dolly Parton, the friend who wasn't always true. The final name on Loretta's list might surprise you. Dolly Parton, the woman many thought was her closest ally. Their friendship was real, but it wasn't flawless. Loretta felt Dolly sometimes used her charm to outshine others, including her. The tension surfaced in 1980 when Dolly, riding high on her crossover success, invited Loretta to collaborate on a TV special. Loretta agreed, hoping for a true partnership. But during the taping, Dolly dominated the spotlight, leaving Loretta feeling like a guest on her own project. "She's all smiles," Loretta later told a friend, "but smiles can hide a lot." The real wound came in 1995 when Dolly was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award. In her speech, she thanked dozens of peers but didn't mention Loretta. Despite their decades of shared history, Loretta, watching from home, felt erased. She never confronted Dolly directly, but when asked about her in later interviews, she'd say, "Dolly's Dolly, that's all I'll say." Their friendship faded into polite distance. What do you think? Was Loretta justified in holding these grudges, or should she have let them go? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching.